All right, guys, so you had about 2 days. You had maybe 3 days if you were lucky to get in at Paldea Evolved when it was $205. It's now made another move up. It's sitting around $225 now, a seemingly 10% move overnight. Absolutely ridiculous. Consistent sales from today, all of them at 225. And it really looks like it's going to head towards 230, 240. It might even catch up to Surging Sparks, which I think would be kind of ridiculous. But I think part of this is that there's a lot of people like me out there and others on YouTube who are even, buying up Paldea before I was a couple weeks ago, just thinking that it's not going to get another reprint. So even paying around $200 USD for a box seems like a good deal. And I actually picked up another case and I think another couple loose boxes, so maybe like 8 or 9 more. And really, like a lot of the stores, at least in Canada at this point, have moved their prices up to at least $300 Canadian. If you go on eBay, the lowest is like 310. So we really are past that $200 USD price point. Most recently, I actually bought the case from Remy's Card Trader, I think last night. No, the night before, on the 20th. So, yeah, I mean, this was 290 Canadian that their price was at. I bought a case and they actually took down the rest of their boxes because they had 18 or 19 in stock. I bought 6. And then right after I placed my order, or within an hour, they had taken it down from their website. So they're holding Paldea Evolved. Hobbiesville has done the same thing. They have one box in stock at 300 Canadian, so 315 after tax, which is about 220 USD, 222, something like that. So after that, I mean, you're really pushing 230 USD, 240 USD on a lot of these other Canadian sites once you do the conversion. So just insane how fast the move has been on this. And I kind of want to do a little bit of a throwback video for you guys today, to look at one of my earliest videos on this channel, which is titled Paldea Evolved is Criminally Underrated. And I recorded this video April 6th, 2024. So almost a year ago, 10 months ago, something like that. And, we're going to shout out a couple of people in this video as well. But at the time, I was comparing top 10 values, top 30 values, and top 50 values in cards when looking at Paldea Evolved compared to Fusion Strike, Lost Origin, and more importantly, Brilliant Stars. And I was trying to make the comparison between Paldea and Brilliant Stars because I thought they were fairly similar sets in terms of depth and, kind of how the top chase worked out. And at the time, top 10 value, Paldea Evolved wasn't that great. And, still compared to Fusion Strike, Lost Origin, Brilliant Stars is actually close now, I think. But Fusion and Lost Origin are far and away better sets. And this is older Grayson, right? So I really believe that depth was an important factor. It's still an important factor, but not as important. And that's why Fusion Strike and Lost Origin, it makes sense why those have pulled away from something like Brilliant Stars and like Paldea Evolved. But it was really close for between Paldea Evolved and Brilliant Stars in top 10 value. When you got to top 30, it was very close as well. And then when you got to top 50 value down here somewhere, Paldea Evolved actually overtook Brilliant Stars. And a lot of what I was trying to say in this video was that if Paldea Evolved, which I think at the time was like $90, $95 USD a box, if that was, very similar to Brilliant Stars, it should be $150, $160 box at the time. And little did I know, right? Little did I know what was going to happen with this market. I don't think anyone saw it coming, but I just thought it was very interesting to look back at this today, doing this video over 10 months ago to see how things have changed. And at the time, I mean, if you guys want to go look, the top card was the Magikarp, $84 basically USD. So it's 3x since then. The Iono was up there around $75. The Ultra Rare was a little bit more expensive than it is. You had the Hyper Rod, the Chien Pao. So a lot of these cards were, and someone alluded to this in the comments, a lot of these cards were playable at the time. Let's see if I scroll down at all. I don't think I do. Unfortunately, no. So you can't see the Tyranitar and show you prices and stuff, but you could go look at TCG Player. Point being, a lot of these cards have grown in value since then. And I do want to give a shout out before we look at something ridiculous right now, because I know a lot of these guys still watch the channel. I see them commenting sometimes. So Random 10, shout out to you. Like, you guys have been here from the beginning. Skyscraper, and we'll touch on Skyscraper's comment because this is 10 months old. He says what's criminally underrated is the starter evolution lines, which I still think are undervalued. When you look at the Sprigatito, the Meowscarada I know is the evolution. Like, those are probably my favorite of the evolution lines. Each card of 3 tells a cool story. I agree, like, they really are undervalued. He also says, though, the Baxcalibur line as well, illustrated by Comio, which I think is actually Comia. But he called this 10 months ago, and these cards now are up 400%, 1600% on the Arctibax, the Frigibax 280%, which I think this graph's a bit skewed, so it's actually probably a bit higher than that. But shout out to him. He called that 10 months ago. Those were undervalued cards. He even knew the artist, which is just wild. Who else is in here? Like a lot of you guys probably don't comment as much, and that's why I don't see your names. I remember Eric. Eric, you still comment a lot. Who else down here? Like a few other people. Anept, I see you. Teacher. So you guys have been here from the beginning. What I say, Agent Crypto, Simply Eric. Like you guys, Pat's Cortez. Like you guys have been here forever. So shout out to you guys. But it's just crazy to look at these values and looking at things today, right? Obviously the box price is up a lot. But when we look at the top cards in the set, and even when we look at the depth, right? The Magikarp's $250 now, which is wild. But what I think is more ridiculous, as you can see, this whole page, cards are over $10, almost all over $15. The whole second page are cards over $5. And then even into the third page, you have cards over $5. So when you do the math, it's 48 cards, and then 6 is 54, 56, 57, 58, 59 cards currently in Paldea Evolved are over $5. So it's basically like 22, 23% of the entire set, like all of the cards you could pull in the set, 22, 23%, something like that, are over $5. Like that is wild when you think about that. And to put into context how ridiculous that is, when you look at a set like Evolving Skies, the best set of the modern era. Do you know how many cards in Evolving Skies are over $5? It's less than 59. 57 cards in Evolving Skies are over $5. Now, granted, Evolving Skies has much more top tier depth, the Umbreon, the Rayquaza, all the evolutions, Dragonite, so it makes sense why, the Evolving Skies booster box is far and away ahead of Paldea Evolved, and Paldea will never catch Evolving Skies, that's just the reality. But it is cool to see that in terms of depth when it comes to cards, Paldea Evolved has more cards over $5. Like, to me, that's just super interesting. And if you want to get another comparison, right? Because if you remember back to this video 10 months ago, a lot of what I was doing was trying to compare it to Brilliant Stars and figure out, where in terms of the booster box price it should be. Because at the time, Brilliant Stars was around $160, $165. So when we look at Brilliant Stars now, the booster box is $285. If we look at the cards in it, you have 24 cards on the first page over $5. When you get into the second page, 30, 32, 33, 34, 35 cards over $5. So Paldea Evolved has 24 more cards over $5 compared to Brilliant Stars. And when you look at the top end of it, the Magikarp's probably a better chase right now than the Charizard, which, some people would probably argue that. I really do like the Charizard. It probably should be worth a little bit more in my opinion. The Umbreon's probably better than the Iono. So, when you look at the top cards, right, the Charizard V-Star, meh. In Paldea Evolved, what do you have? You have the Baxcalibur now is third highest. You have the Raichu, the Tyranitar, the Marill, the rest of the Baxcalibur line show you. So you have a lot of decent cards. In Brilliant Stars, you do have those Sylveon and Umbreon V cards. So I think, in terms of the top, maybe like 6-ish cards, I'd probably give the edge to Brilliant Stars still a little bit, but these sets are very close, right? And if Brilliant Stars is sitting around $285, and everyone says that Brilliant Stars is underrated, undervalued at $285, so it should be probably over $300 in a lot of people's minds, maybe even closer to $400. If that's the case for Brilliant Stars, it's only a matter of time before Paldea Evolved gets close to Brilliant Stars, and probably even in the long term, when we think like 10, 15 years down the line, it could even overtake Brilliant Stars, right? Like that's how crazy this set is. And at the time when I made this video, I did not realize how many illustration rares and SIRs were in this set for Paldea Evolved. Like I really just didn't think about it too deep. And I don't think a lot of people even at the time realized either, because when you go to TCG Player, maybe you look at the first page, the odd person might look at the second page, and at the time a lot of these cards were probably that now are above $6.84. A lot of these cards were probably only $2, maybe $2.50. You probably had some regular like EX cards or energy cards that are now on the third page. Like a lot of these were probably on that second page because they were playable and whatnot, and there wasn't any crazy value. Whereas now, like you realize how many IRs there are in this set. Like third page, you have IRs over $5 that you probably didn't even think were in this set. So it's just wild to see how deep Paldea Evolved is, how people's minds have changed, and how overnight this box can go from $200 to $225, and potentially even making a move towards 230, 240, 250. I really would not be surprised, especially at least in Canada, right? Like you guys in the States, Europe, other parts of the world, Australia. First of all, thank you all for watching, but you might have different markets slightly and be able to access this at a lower price. But if you guys want Paldea Evolved, or you've been thinking about getting Paldea Evolved, and you can get it under 200 USD or around 200 USD still, maybe even 205, like that's a decent price today based on what TCG Player's at. And I think that's going to change probably within the next 12 to 24 hours. I think a lot of stores are again going to move their prices up. I think it's ridiculous that the market is moving this fast and that you got to make decisions like this. And I know I contribute to it as well by making videos like this. I'm not trying to push FOMO. You guys know, like I bought most of my Paldea Evolved at $90 at this time. Like, look, 10 months ago. And there were even some people in here like Agent Crypto, whoever commented it, I think. It's too early for PE to go too hard. I mean, my boxes have more than doubled in the past 10 months. So I got in early, which I'm happy about, but I still think there's a ton of room to go on this set. And even if you buy now, I think you're going to be thanking yourself 12 months down the line, 24 months down the line. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you got some value out of the content, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video. It helps out a ton. Thank you guys again. Stay safe wherever you are in the world. I'll catch you in the next one.